Hey everybody, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. If this jester hat looks familiar, that means that you probably saw my estate sale haul video that I did this weekend and posted, and if you have not seen it, I'm going to link to it at the end of this video, so make sure you go check it out. That's where I came across the estate of somebody who is a president of a local court of the Royal Order of Jesters. And this hat was one of the pieces in there. Now this hat in and of itself isn't worth a ton. It's, probably could get $20, $25 out of it. There's nothing about it that's specific to the Royal Order of Jesters, except that I know that it was owned by somebody who, again, had a significant position of leadership within that organization. But these would be worn by people who, go to Mardi Gras parties, or for Halloween purposes, someone who might want to dress up as like a Harlequin or a fancy type of clown might wear this type of thing. But that's not really what I want to focus with you on today. What I want to focus with you on today is specifically the Royal Order of Jesters, also known as ROJ. Because it's a very interesting organization, and some of the items that come from that organization can have some significant value, and if you run across it, I think you need to be aware of it so that you know what you're seeing. When I originally came across some of the pieces, I actually thought that some of the numbers that were stamped onto the items were references to years, but they're actually not, and I'm going to tell you what they mean in a moment. I did a little bit more research on it to figure things out, and that's one of the things I love about reselling, by the way. It's not all just about the money. It's also about the educational part of it. I love learning about all these different things that I've never seen of before or heard of before. It's just fascinating to me. So I love that aspect of it, the research and the learning and the educational part of it. So I want to pass some of that stuff on to you today because, again, I think it would be, one, interesting to you, and two, could lead to making some nice money down the road with some of the items. So let me just start with just a little bit of basic history on this. The Royal Order of Jesters is a male fraternal organization that's associated with the Shriners, which is also a male fraternity that has its roots in Freemasonry, which is basically a historical group that has its roots in people who had stonemasonry skills in common. But they have many different separate groups, and the Royal Order of Jesters is the part of the group that is really designed for fun and enjoyment after all of the work is done. This is a group that likes to get together and just have some enjoyment. It dates back to an original meeting that took place in 1911 when the Shriners were on a pilgrimage to a temple in Hawaii, and the original cast included a director and had 13 members, and that's what they call the leader. I said president earlier, but they call themselves like director, that type of thing. So they have specific terms for different people who are in the group, one of which is called leading man, and there's other different titles that they have for different members. Their motto is mirth is king. Mirth means amusement. So you'll see that phrase, mirth is king, on a lot of their items. Sometimes it's on shirts, it's on books, it's on figurines and that type of stuff. So if you see that phrase, mirth is king, that is related to the Royal Order of Jesters organization. Now, the most important thing that you need to know about the Royal Order of Jesters is their icon. Their icon is this guy here. Now, let me bring him up to the camera so you could see him really well, okay? And I showed him in the video the other day in the car, okay? This little guy is known as a Billiken. If that term may sound familiar to you, St. Louis University, then their actual name of their team is the Billikens. A Billiken is basically this charm doll-like figure. It was something that has its origin in a woman named Florence Pretz from Kansas City, Missouri. And she claimed that she saw this mysterious figure in a dream. And then she came up with the name Billiken from a poem in 1896. And originally it was conceptualized as this elephant-like figure with pointy ears. And if you still see this one, he still does have pointy ears, kind of like an elephant, and a mischievous smile, which you could see there. He's got that mischievous smile and a tuft of hair on his pointed head. This one you can't see that because he has a crown, but there are other pictures of him where he's and images of him where he's bald and he has this little tuft of hair pointed on his head. His arms tend to be short. Now they're pretty long here, but in the original conceptualization of him, his arms were short, and he's generally found to be sitting just like this with his legs stretched out in front of him. Now, to buy a Billiken was said to give the purchaser good luck. So people will still purchase Billikens for that reason. But if somebody gives you a Billiken, that is supposed to give you even more good luck. Now, there are people that collect Billikens. I mean, there's people that collect almost everything, but there actually is a strong, moderately strong, I would say, collector's market for Billikens, where if you look up completed solds on eBay for Billikens, which is, by the way, spelled Billiken, some of them go for upwards of $100, more than $100, $110, $120 for some of the ceramic ones. Some of the books and plates, plates with Billikens on them could go for that amount, or that just have Royal Order of Jesters material on them. There's other pieces that I found as part of that collection, which I'm just going to show you some of them here. I have many more of these, but this is actually, it says ROJ on it, so now you'll know what that means if you ever see that, Royal Order of Jesters. This is like a little leather carrying case, and inside of it, if you remember I showed this the other day, there are these two ribbons, and right over here it says Leading Man, which is the name of one of the characters, one of the people who's in the organization. And then it says right here, here's a picture of a Billiken right there. Now, what you do see there is a swastika on it. Now, that is not a swastika for evil reasons. Many people don't know this, but a swastika actually is also a religious figure that is a symbol, a religious symbol that's meant to convey good luck. Now, you would not want to advertise these as saying they have swastikas on them. It's kind of like an incidental thing that's on here because that will get removed on eBay, so you don't want to actually advertise and use the word swastikas on there. You just want to make sure you're selling this as a Billiken. And so these medallion pieces like this, for example, they could sell for up to $50 depending on the nature of the design and the size of the medallion. You know, this one here and some of these other ones that I got, like, I'll show you another one over here. This is one, it's double-sided, and it just has some symbolism related to the Royal Order of Jesters. And I'm gonna, hoping to get around $20 for each of them. I purchased all of these. I've got a total of 6 different items here, plus other things that I purchased at the estate sale that I wound up getting for around $23.50. And I already sold this one today for this is going to go out in the mail tomorrow. I sold this one for $20. Now, I want to get a little bit more out of it, but the reason why I wound up taking a little bit less is because if you see here with these, there's little gems that are supposed to be in here. This one has like a little red one here. Then there's a green one up on the eye right here. But this one right here, it's actually, the gem is missing, kind of came out. So that took the value down a little bit. But still, even with one of the gems missing, this is still 20 bucks. This only weighs about 4 ounces. It's not real gold. One of the ways you could test that, by the way, is just by using a magnet. And if it magnetizes, then you know it's not gold, because gold is not magnetic. So the other thing you could do is you could check on the back of these. The Royal Order of Jesters did often use this jeweler, P. Artunian from Los Angeles, California. So you could look for that on the bottom and see if that's there. That would give you an indication of authenticity. The other thing I wanted to point out that I made a mistake on in my initial video on this, and it's just because I've never come across these before, is that on the bottom you see these little numbers. It says, this one says 66, okay? And then this one here also says 66. Now originally I thought this meant the year, 1966. It doesn't, though. I'll tell you what it means in just a moment. That one says 19, I'm sorry, there we go, messing that up again. This one says 79. What those actually refer to is not years. They refer to the court number. So all of these groups had courts that met in certain cities. So court number 79 actually refers to a court that was in Camillus, New York. So that's an upstate New York City, not too far away from me. So that makes sense. And then the other one, Court 66, refers to one in Milford, Connecticut. So that's still northeast. So this person must have been in that area at some point where he wound up getting those medallions. And I have a whole nother bag of these medallions. There's like 3 other ones in here. So I have some additional ones that all have, different numbers on them. So that's what those numbers mean. They don't actually refer to the age, although you can tell from looking at this one that it is pretty vintage. I mean, I would put this one probably just by looking at the age of it, probably goes back to, somewhere in the 70s or something like that. I mean, it does definitely have a nice vintage look to it. So, and feel to it. You could just kind of tell the age for just based on the patina and that type of stuff. So, now, one kind of last general point about Royal Order of Jesters materials, one of the things that makes them kind of valuable and kind of interesting is that the Royal Order of Jesters is pretty much a secret group. I mean, it's not that they don't want anyone to know literally that they exist, because people obviously do know they exist, but they're very anti-publicity. There was a website that one of the members actually made once and put up about the Royal Order of Jesters, and it was removed after intervention by the National Court of the Order. That's what they call themselves. They actually took it down. And the reason for this is that the board wanted to minimize the public exposure or public access to jester information. They want to kind of keep that to themselves and not spread that out there too much. The other thing is that these local courts that I mentioned, they're limited to only 13 people per court could be initiated into the membership per year. And if you are a Shriner member and you try to get yourself into the jester group, like if you ask to join, that will result in you never being accepted into the group. So I just thought that was interesting information for you all. It's BOLO information. Be on the lookout for. If you see some of these items, go check it out yourself. Type in Royal Order of Jesters on eBay and look at some of the listings and completed sold, and you'll see that you can do very well if you come across it. If you ever come across this information, or you happen to know additional information about the Royal Order of Jesters that you would like to pass on, please make sure you drop that down in the comment section. Make sure you hit the like button. Also, no offense to the Royal Order of Jesters, but unlike that group, if you ask to join the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, which is the group that I run on Facebook dedicated to reselling, I am definitely going to let you in, and I am not going to kick you out, okay, or not allow you in. You're definitely going to be allowed in as long as your profile looks okay and everything looks legitimate with your profile. You're going to be allowed in. So I hope you will consider just looking down below in the description section, clicking that Facebook link, and coming over to our group and joining us. It's a fun group of people, and I really, really enjoy getting to know all the people who are there and all the new members, and it's a great time. So come by, check it out. And lastly, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I really want to get us up to 100. We're getting close. We're, I think, around 83, 84, so we're almost there. Want to get there pretty soon, so please help me out with that. Hit the subscribe button if you like it. Support the channel so I can make other videos like this that can help you out. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you at the next video. Bye-bye.